These days, when someone you love doesn't come home, the first call you make is usually to their phone. Then you text their friends, you check social media, you drive to the places they said they'd be. It's a routine most families know by heart, a mixture of worry and hope that gets more desperate with every passing hour. But what happens when the person standing beside you in that search, the one holding your hand and wiping your tears, is the same person who knows exactly where to look, because they're the one who put them there? And that brings us to today's case. Danielle Locklear was 15 years old. She was a freshman at Southview High School in Hope Mills, North Carolina, living with her grandparents and looking forward to making new friends at school. On the evening of March 11, 2014, Danielle told her grandfather she needed to run a quick errand to her friend Alexis's house around 9:45 p.m. Her grandmother was away. It was supposed to be quick. She never came back. Danielle was born into a family that loved her deeply. Her mother, Rona Fowler, and her extended family stayed close even as Danielle navigated the normal challenges of being a teenager. She was social, expressive, and like many 15-year-olds, she shared her feelings openly on social media. At school, Danielle was settling in, finding her place, and building friendships. Outside of class, she had started dating Je'Michael Malloy, a 17-year-old high school senior from nearby Fayetteville. They began seeing each other in June 2013, and for a while things seemed good. But high school relationships are complicated. Danielle and Je'Michael had their ups and downs. When things were good, they cooked meals together at Danielle's house and talked on the phone every night. When things weren't good, Danielle felt it deeply. She once posted on Facebook, "I feel no love because some people are too busy with other friends to pay attention to their girlfriend." It was the kind of post thousands of teenagers make every day, raw and honest and filled with the ache of feeling ignored. Then, just days before she disappeared, Je'Michael broke up with her. When Danielle didn't come home that night, her grandfather waited. By March 13, 2 days later, he called authorities to report her missing. A full investigation began immediately. Police started by speaking with her friends, trying to retrace her steps. One of them, Caroline Nuzzo, told investigators that Danielle had confided in her about the breakup just days earlier. That detail shifted the focus. Police began to consider the possibility that Danielle hadn't gone to Alexis's house at all. Maybe she had gone to see Je'Michael instead. When questioned, Je'Michael told police he hadn't spoken to Danielle in days. He said the breakup had been so hard on her that he'd blocked her number entirely. He positioned himself as someone who'd moved on, someone who needed space, but investigators weren't convinced. Still, without evidence, they couldn't do much more than keep him on their radar. The search for Danielle expanded quickly. The FBI joined the effort, and images of the missing teenager were released to the media. Her disappearance became national news. Rona Fowler, along with Danielle's aunts and other family members, organized their own searches, printed flyers, and canvassed the area. At every search party, at every balloon release, at every vigil, Je'Michael was there. He showed up. He hugged Danielle's mother. He cried on her shoulder. He looked like a heartbroken boyfriend doing everything he could to help find the girl he loved. Then, on April 2, just over 3 weeks after Danielle disappeared, an off-duty officer spotted something in the South River near the Cumberland and Sampson County line. At first, it was hard to make out, but as he got closer, he realized it was a body, partially submerged. When investigators pulled it from the water, they saw that cinder blocks had been tied to the waist and feet with yellow rope to weigh it down. The victim was identified as Danielle Locklear. The autopsy revealed devastating details. A sock matching one found at a nearby creek had been stuffed into her mouth. The medical examiner concluded that Danielle died of asphyxiation, though they couldn't determine whether the cause was strangulation or the sock blocking her airway. The only thing they could say was it was from both, one investigator later explained. The autopsy also revealed something else. Danielle was not pregnant at the time of her death. The location where Danielle's body was found was less than a mile from Je'Michael Malloy's residence. That wasn't a coincidence. Investigators executed a search warrant at his home the next day. Inside, they found cinder blocks and cord matching the materials used to weigh down Danielle's body. They also brought in Je'Michael's friend, 18-year-old Dominic Lock, for questioning. Dominic refused to speak at first, but 4 days later Je'Michael confessed. He told police that he and Dominic had picked up Danielle on the night of March 11. They drove her to a creek, a popular hangout spot where teenagers gathered. During an argument there, Je'Michael said he snapped. He choked Danielle to death and stuffed a sock in her mouth. Then he called Dominic for help. In a recorded interrogation, Dominic described what happened next. After a while, he came back to me and he told me she's dead, Dominic said. And I asked him, what are you talking about? And he ran down there and I ran after him, and she was just laying there on her stomach. According to Dominic, Je'Michael told him what to do next. They carried Danielle's body to the car, drove back to Je'Michael's house, retrieved cinder blocks and rope, tied them to her body, and dumped her in the South River. Je'Michael later claimed he panicked because Danielle had lied and told him she was pregnant. Prosecutors believe she may have said it to get his attention, to keep him from leaving her for good. Whatever her reasons, it cost her everything. On April 8, 2014, Je'Michael Malloy was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Dominic Lock was initially charged with conspiracy, but the charge was upgraded to second-degree murder the following day for his role in disposing of Danielle's body. For Danielle's family, the arrest brought a brutal realization. It's been a month-long nightmare, and I feel like they've been around us. They've been in our home. He's walked with us on searches. We're disgusted, said Danielle's aunt, Chenna Simmons. And to find out that the perpetrator, or the person who took her life allegedly, is her own boyfriend is a lot to take. In May 2016, Je'Michael Malloy pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 25 to 31 years in prison. Dominic Lock pleaded guilty to being an accessory after the fact to first-degree murder and was sentenced to 6 to 8 years in prison in June 2016. At Lock's sentencing, Rona Fowler spoke directly about what she had endured. I went to a funeral home and they pulled my child out of the freezer and I had to look at her in a plastic bag because they wouldn't even open it, she said. Danielle Locklear was 15 years old when she died. She had her whole life ahead of her. Instead, she's gone. And the person who took her from this world was someone she trusted, someone she loved, someone who stood beside her family and pretended to grieve while knowing exactly what he'd done. That's the part that stays with you long after the trial ends and the news cameras leave. The cruelty of it. The betrayal. Thank you for watching Dust Crime. We explore real cases, unanswered questions, and the details that refuse to fade. If these stories matter to you, consider subscribing and sharing your thoughts in the comments.